Hey, what's up? This is Zircon, and it's been a minute. Everything's okay. I haven't given up on music or making videos or music tech or any of that stuff. I've actually been back in school. There's a 13-week program that is wrapping up next week. It's kept me extremely busy. I'll talk about it a little bit at the end. But for today, I want to dive into Serum 2, which is something I've been playing with a lot these last few months. Ever since I first saw the MULTISAMPLE oscillator and how you can now load SFZ files to actually get entire instrument mappings into Serum 2, I was wondering, can we translate any Impact Soundworks libraries, which are pretty big Kontakt libraries, into Serum 2? Can we do that? And it turns out the answer is yes. Here's a little preview of what's to come in this video. Full disclosure, in case you don't already know, Impact Soundworks is my company. We make virtual instruments, libraries, plugins. So in a way, I guess you could say this video is sponsored by me. And there's gonna be some free stuff that you can grab. It's gonna be fun. Let's get started. All right, so just as a refresher, Serum 2 has a new oscillator type called MULTISAMPLE. And this allows you to load up multiple audio files that are mapped across the keyboard. Now this works differently than something like Pigments, which has, I think, up to 6 samples at a time. Serum 2 uses the SFZ format. This is an open source text-based format, and it actually is quite deep. I had no idea how deep it could go. If we take a look at the factory library, they've got a picked bass. So it wasn't really clear to me how much more you could do with this. Is it capped at, 100 samples, 128? How many dynamics can it do? How many round robins? And it turns out the answer is a lot. Let's look at this library called Show Drum. Now, this was a Kontakt library to begin with, and basically what we were able to do is bring all of the samples in one of the patches into Serum 2 via SFZ. This particular patch doesn't have any dynamic layers, but if you look, it has round robins, RR. And you can see the round robin cycling there. So that by itself is pretty neat. We were able to bring over this patch, sort of like a tuned steel drum that you play with either the fingers or mallets with all of the articulations. Or how about this sitar? This has a lot of samples, like hundreds that are mapped in this SFZ. And actually, by using velocities in the SFZ mapping, we can even get different articulations in there. When I play most lower velocities, we're getting the regular notes, but then as I play higher, we get mordents, which are like a pitch bend up and down very quickly, or we can even get a more expressive bend up. So really, we were able to capture everything from the Kontakt patch. I just had no idea that Serum 2 could support patches like this. And obviously, because it is in Serum 2, it has access to all of the warps and everything like that. So if you wanted to, you could take a complex multi-sampled sound like this, and then we could pull in some kind of oscillator. Let's just grab one of these. And we'll turn this down because we're going to use an FM warp. I think this goes nicely, actually. Let's throw in some effects here. I've got a chorus compressor delay reverb. It is just awesome that you can do this with these complex multi-sampled instruments. And you can do the same thing for percussion. So we took a bunch of drum samples, and if you look, there are hundreds here. And this has both lots of dynamic layers or velocity layers. I think there's up to 9, as well as round robins. 3 round robins. So each individual drum hit has 27 different samples that could be played per key. So what's a practical use of some of this? Well, I decided to take a bunch of the sounds that we brought into Serum 2 as presets and make a sort of lo-fi atmospheric groove. These are chromatic pot lids that you're hearing. This is a gamelan. This is our coda with tremolo. Little vocal sample there. This is a sort of design transformed sound that's been mapped into the multi-sample oscillator with lots of effects. Got one of the show drum samples there. This piano sounding thing. It's actually from show drum also. So pretty cool stuff. These sounds are super playable. This particular one was made with metal pot lids that I held by the little wooden handle and then just hit with my fingers. They have a really nice resonance. And because we have them in the multi-sample oscillator, I'm using the high pass. And you can adjust the tone that way very easily. And there's actually no effects for this. It just has a really nice body and resonance to it. Taking a look at some of these other sounds, this is a gamelan. The instrument is called a Serum, I'm not sure. These sound really nice in Serum too. I love the plate. I also love the nitrous and basin. I use that on some of the other layers. You can hear I'm using nitrous here, nice long delay. Sounds really good. And this type of thing is also great for granular. So if you don't know, here's a little trick you can do. Let's say I really like that sample. So whatever the last sample you play, you can click on the multi-sample here and then do switch to single sample. And now we're just pitching that around. Which is fine, but then you can actually load it into the granular or spectral mode. Let's check out spectral here for this sound. Just wild being able to do this. It sounds really good. Here's the coda tremolo. This one's a fairly simple SFZ. There's not that many layers to it, but it's going through this nice sweetening effects chain to it. And then I'm using the filter automation over time at this point in the track. You can see the filter automation is going to be happening. This is going to go down. The Kempiang is another gamelan instrument. And then what I did for some of these layers, so for example, this one is a textural sound. I made the sample offline, so this was something I used a bunch of processing, rendered it. It's a single sample called Frozen Texture C3. And then in the Serum patch, there's just extra processing. You can see there's white noise, there's a filter on the noise, and a whole bunch of effects. But that pumping is coming from an instance of Shaperbox, which is becoming one of my favorite plugins just for fast rhythmic movement. And this particular chordal sound, it's actually in key. All of the patches you just heard are available for free. So if you check the video description, you'll see a link to the Impact Soundworks website where you can add these sounds to your cart and check out for $0 and get a download link right away. All of these 34 sounds here with all of the underlying samples and SFZs baked into them. We actually made 5 full featured libraries. So we have Sitar Nation, Show Drum, Resonance, Kodo Nation, and Javanese Gamelan. And each of these are individual collections that you can get at our website too if you like the free pack. And then we have a bundle of all 5 of them, which has, I think, almost 10,000 samples total, hundreds of presets. So if you like this kind of sound, you like the atmospheric stuff, the ambient stuff, and the ability to use these deep acoustic instruments and interesting sound design from the multi-sample oscillator, then definitely check that out on our website. It's actually the same link. You can just scroll down on the page with the free presets and you can learn more about the packs there. So let's check out one other track I did using these sounds. And this one uses Kodo Nation, which is a set of Japanese instruments. So here's the main pluck. Beautiful harmonics there. Check out this shamisen here. As well as this more subtle sound in the background. These hits. Octave plucks. And then this spectral bass kodo. Very nice for a drone. You get the idea. So most of these patches, again, were taken from the Kontakt versions pretty much with no loss of fidelity, dynamics, round robins, nothing like that. This hits, you'll notice that I gave it a little bit of attack just because I wanted it to be a bit softer, but it sounds like this. Now we've got a regular bass kodo, which is a pretty deeply sampled instrument to begin with. But then I took one of the samples from there and brought it into spectral mode, which makes for a great bass drone. A little bit of LFO to give it a pulsing effect. No effects going on here, but I believe I have just a simple sidechain on it with the FL limiter. For the shamisen, just to bring a little attention to that. This was all about getting the right atmosphere. It's using a ping pong delay, pretty heavy at 50-50. So what is going on here? This is the convolution reverb effect, and I don't like using this just for regular reverbs. I don't think it's that interesting when you just use it for straightforward reverbs, but if you've watched my video on reverb, you know my thoughts on that. It's when you use more unique impulses like this spectral blurring. Then all the other stuff is just some simple drum and bass type rhythms, just to show a few of the other patches that we were able to make. I had a lot of fun with the show drum making some more designed patches, so bringing the basic materials into Serum to either the sampler, spectral, or granular, and then just kind of having fun with it. This patch was kind of fun because it uses the multi-sampled timpani mallets, but those by themselves, I mean, they're pretty compressed here. We're using the compressor to a pretty extreme degree with the multiband, but I think what's fun is when you add these other oscillators. So we've got a simple sine wave, which provides the more clear pitch, because the thing with the show drum is that when you play it higher, you get more of those harmonics. And then there's also the balafon, which is a sample that comes with Serum 2. That's actually the sound of a kodo being hit and then transforming that sample into more of a low-pitched taiko type sound. So that was fun to make. All right, so I hope you found that interesting, and I hope that inspires you to put all kinds of interesting material into Serum. There's actually a lot of free SFZs out there, and as a reminder, this emotional resonance free preset pack, you can just download it in the description. I encourage you to play with it and just share what you've made. And if you want to upgrade to the full commercial versions, you can always do that if you want. But yeah, before signing off, I just want to mention the class that I've been in. It's something called 10,000 Small Businesses, and this is offered by, oddly enough, Goldman Sachs combined with Bloomberg Philanthropies. It's a completely free, and not free with an asterisk or free, but there's like upsells or certificates you have to buy. It's actually 100% free business education program focused specifically on entrepreneurs. So people that have their own business, typically a very small one, like with 5 people, 10 people in it. And I have to say, it has been absolutely incredible because I don't have a formal business education or background, even though I've been both releasing music and writing soundtracks and running Impact Soundworks for pretty much my entire adult life. Like, this is my career. Even so, because I never got the more formal training, there were a lot of things that I thought I knew, but I really didn't. It's about helping us as these small business owners grow and fill in those knowledge gaps and also help each other. So a lot of the people I've met from this class are just really amazing. The only downside is just the time investment. It's been a couple days a week and the days are like 10 or 11 hours long. And then there's also homework outside of that. So with 2 kids, the class, Impact Soundworks, Impact Gameworks, I didn't have time to make more videos. But with the class winding down, I am going to be getting back to releasing more on this channel, as well as releasing some more new music. If you're this far, thanks for sticking with me. I hope that you have fun with Serum 2, and I will see you in the next one.